Welcome, everybody. He's John. I'm Frank. We're talking about the late pick five at Laurel Park Saturday. We got 50 cent minimum, 12% takeout, two steaks, all kind of stuff to talk about. John, let's dive in here. Let's talk about some key horses in this pick five sequence. And you've got a horse in this first race. I found this interesting. You want to single this race. I did not see this as a single race. Let's talk about your horse here, Creed's Vision.
Well, I don't think most bettors do see it as a single race, which is why I'm trying to find a single. There are six horses in this field who have a 100% figure of at least 70 in the past. One of them's your likely favorite, Daring Venture. He's lost at low odds too many times. Two of the others are drawn too far to the outside. Fook and El Jr. Not super visually impressive on debut. That leads me towards number two, Creed's Vision. He's run well in both of his starts at this level, just missed by a half length on debut. Then ran what I thought was a very nice race last time out on December 1st, tracked in mid-pack, made a wide move from off the pace. A winner, Nola Boss, kind of kicked on. But Creed's Vision, he kept on late, especially in the last 16th. He really got going. Ended up getting second, lost by about 3 lengths. Might have been a little bit of a closer margin had Sheldon Russell not wrapped up on him in the final yards. He improved sharply to a 75 that day. He adds blinkers, keeps Sheldon in the saddle. Tom Morley shipping him back down here from New York. As long as he doesn't regress off that race, I think he's very live in this spot. And by singling, hopefully I'll get the job done at a decent price and take out a lot of tickets in the process.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I thought that was a willing effort last time. I thought it was a good try. A horse that and we'll show video of this one as well, that I want to use here is Farouk. And I think a lot of people are going to kind of blow through his last race and go, yeah, he ran okay. You go back and watch that race, heavy on Toledo in the irons. He's in the irons again. He was seat on the dashboard all the way up the backstretch on this horse. He had a ton of horse early and no place to go because he was buried down on the rail. Drawn better today. I think I think this is a horse that is sitting on a big step forward. Is it going to be today? I don't know that, but I feel like for me, he's a user because of that. Because if he takes that step forward, he wins. I don't think I don't think any of these are better than he is if he takes a step forward, I envision. So that's my theory. We'll see how
No, I
that
mean,
all plays out.
yeah, I mean, I picked him second in my written analysis. He was also the only first time starter in the field that day. Certainly would not be a surprise at all to see him get the job done.
All right, let's spin ahead one race. A other than is race six, the second. Let's try that again. Second leg of the pick five here. It's a mile, 3-year-olds going one turn here. Horse that I want to focus on here, John, is Bjorn. And that's actually going to lead us into a horse that you're focusing on a little later in the card, which is Crab Daddy. Bjorn won at first asking, won nicely. The runner up in that race was Crab Daddy. Crab Daddy comes back, wins the Pennsylvania Nursery impressively, and then runs well next time out, which you'll talk about. Then Bjorn, and I thought this was really a lot to ask of a horse. In his second start, comes off like a 7-week layoff. They send him 2 turns. He duels on the lead with a horse who's 3-1 at post time. He dispatches that horse. He gets rid of that horse. Can't hold off the closers. Tires late. Finishes third. I thought it was a very, very good effort. Uh, I think now cutting back to a 1-turn mile probably suits him. I think he's going to be a little bit fitter. I think this is a horse that can run a big race here.
I picked him on top as well, and I also used him on my ticket. As you said, he ran huge last time out, going a mile and a 16th. He actually outfinished his dueling partner that day by quite a bit. Now it looks like the main speed in here should have a much easier time on the front end in this spot.
All righty. That is Bjorn. Next leg is the Extra Heat fillies going 3/4. These are 3-year-old fillies. You use a couple in here. You use My Charm, you use Scar of Fire. I want to call attention to one horse here that you're not using, and I don't even know if this horse going to post, but Wisconsin Gal breaking from the outside. I have absolutely no idea what they're doing with this horse and why they're doing it, but she's got talent, and she won nicely to break her maiden in a maiden auction race at Churchill. They tried her. They've tried her in three stakes subsequently. Last time out, she finished fifth, but she was beaten 2 lengths at 35-1 against the boys. They've sent her against the boys in two of the three stake starts she's made. The other one was on synthetic. Not sure how much she liked that. I thought that effort last time out was very good. She was trying all the way to the wire. There's not much in this field. I think you might get a little price on her, and I think she's live here, John.
No, I mean it's a pretty scattered field, and I did pick her towards the bottom in my analysis. She has taken steps forward in each of those races, even though she was in over her head. While I didn't handicap the Renaissance that day, this is probably a lot easier field
It's a
today
lot
than what
easier
you saw
field.
last time. Gotta figure if she goes back to that race 4 starts back, she is pretty live. I ended up picking Chicago Fire on top, but I could not argue against anyone who wants to take a shot with Wisconsin Gal.
The favorite in the Renaissance, the horse that won, Kale's Angel, had a previous high buyer of 93.
Mhm.
And so I think the highest buyer any horse has in this field is like 68. So
Yeah, it's not the same.
so yeah,
But
that was a pretty rugged group. All right, on to the ninth spectacular bid. Uh, I think we both see the same horse is pretty live. Tell me about Crab Daddy.
Crab Daddy is going to be my day maker or day breaker. If he wins, I hit the pick five and I cash a nice win bet. If he loses, it's a feathers day rather than chicken day. And I actually liked him when he was entered in the heft. However, he scratched out of that race and ran in the Future Stars at Parks 2 days later on a very wet track. In fact, the folks at Parks had to cancel the whole previous week of racing because the track was so wet. They had gotten it ready in time for the Future Stars. But Linda Albert told Dan Illman the other day she didn't really like the track that day. She wasn't quite sure how well her horse got over it, but he still ran well. He was kind of churning most of the race. Then in the last 3/16, really began gobbling up ground, lost by 1.5 lengths despite an overland trip. The winner, Global Steve, he was down towards the inside most of the way, so he ended up saving a lot more ground. As you said earlier in the video, he was a very strong second on debut to Bjorn, who ran a nice third last time out. Daddy Yankee, who came in third in that race, also has come back to break his maiden. Won the Pennsylvania Nursery going away in between. He's in improving form. He adds blinkers. I think the likely favorites in here, Sacred Thunder, Tony Eclipse, and Scheduling Dude, are all pretty vulnerable. So I think Crab Daddy is going off at a pretty good price. As long as he doesn't get caught in traffic, he's going to be flying late. He's going to be pretty hard to hold off, I think.
I'm with you. I like this horse. And that last effort in the Future Stars, he was the widest horse every step of the way from he broke from the farthest outside post, never saved any ground, wide all the way around the turn. And he actually galloped out in front. You gotta, if you watch the replay, you gotta kind of hang in there for a minute after the finish. But when they show him, he goes on by the winner, galloping out in front. So I thought that was a really good effort. And I agree with you. I mean, I think Tony Eclipse's big problem is scheduling dude. And scheduling dude's big problem here is Tony Eclipse. They're going to be fighting each other for the front. And I don't know. Yeah, Sacred Thunder's okay. Yeah, he's okay. I think you're right. I think you get a better price on Crab Daddy. I think Crab Daddy probably higher upside than maybe a couple of these. So I'm with you. Right there with you. All
Okay.
right. Last leg, 10th race, 12-5, never win two claimers. You go with three of these, 3, 5, and 8. Dingo 8, Yo Baby, is the 8 horse. This is a pretty interesting runner in this spot, I think, in that everything must go clearance sale.
I mean, he'll either, I think, win by 10 or lose by 20. We see
I
Brittany
think
Russell
that's
take
right.
these drops a lot, and sometimes they win by the length of the stretch, and other times they are terrible. But either way, they'll take money. I mean, if he runs back to the races he ran about a year ago, he'll win pretty easily. He's never lost an Arms or two claiming race. He's worked okay over the past few weeks. He doesn't have to be a world beater to beat these. He's no single though. I did end up using the 5 Earl of Dassel coming back down here for Jamie Ness after a tried Aqueduct, and number 3 Papa Funny was a solid second last time out at Penn National in his first try against bottom non-winners or twos. But it is a pretty formless field. In fact, probably the most notable thing about this race is it's going to be the first race in Maryland after 5 o'clock in a long time. A good sign that spring is slowly approaching.
Man, you are wow, that glass isn't half full. It's like all the way full in your mind. If you're talking about spring here, it's like 12 degrees right now.
I mean, I'll take any sign I can get, you know? I'm holding on to anything.
Attaboy. All right, so you've got a pretty economical ticket here. You got a couple of singles, so any kind of last thoughts?
It's a $12 play, singling 2 horses who I don't think a lot of folks are going to single in Creed's Vision and Crab Daddy. Both 2-year-olds, both horses looking to take big steps forward, and I think they're eligible to do so. From there, I'm using pretty much everyone who I think is logical in those other spots. So it's one of those things where I just have to be right twice, and I'll be in good shape.
You always say that. Let's hope you're right twice. All right. He's John. I'm Frank. TheRacingBiz.com will have John's written analysis of the entire card up on TheRacingBiz.com Saturday morning. That is the Saturday Late Pick 5 at Laurel Park. Good luck, everybody.